He was looking for 2 book recommendations. The first is related to mastery of a variety of different subjects, and let's start with that. Any good book recommendations?
Yeah, I really liked The Art of Learning by Josh. I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Waitzkin, I think. He's the guy that Searching for Bobby Fischer is based on. He was a chess prodigy that then became a jiu-jitsu prodigy, and the fact that he was able to become so good at both convinced me he's really good at learning skills. And so I really liked that book when I was younger.
The Art of Learning. So yeah, if you're interested in mastery, I think that's a good one. If you're insistent, there's another one called Mastery by, I think his name is Leonard. I was going to say Leonard Cohen. George Leonard. I don't know. If any of the words Cohen, Leonard, or George are in there, that's your guy.
That's your guy. If not, it might still be your guy.
It talks about plateaus.
It's called Mastery.
It's called Mastery, yeah.
George Leonard.
George Leonard. Woo!
Everything's in the description.
Just like we said.
Yeah, so that's a good one related to mastery. And the second one, the question, and I hope I'm getting it right, is...
Oh, can I say something else about mastery real quick?
Absolutely.
So in my own experience, the greatest thing I have done for mastery is find people that are really good teachers of it and learn from it. So like, for instance, reading The Art of Learning, very helpful. When I became really good at jiu-jitsu, it's because the Gracie brothers have something called Gracie University. And I had taken lessons in person from multiple black belts in multiple continents. And that online course, hands down, the fastest and best I've ever gotten at jiu-jitsu. Same with surfing. Surfing, I had a bunch of instructors. Some were bad, some were good. I was watching videos online, and I found one good coach and immediately became a lot better. So I think for me, the best thing to do to become a master of something or learn a skill, start with the foundations, Art of Learning, mastery, learn how learning works, but then very quickly test a bunch of instructors and make cuts if they don't seem good. Because when you find one that's good, 5x your learning curve. Like it's just a world of difference.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Gracie University is so good.
Yeah.
It's so much better than the classes I went to. And I'm going to break from the book recommendation to talk about some of the tenets of mastery. One of the tenets is do it perfect slowly before going fast. So one of the big problems with jiu-jitsu classes is you'll often do 10 minutes of drilling and then you'll just roll, and you haven't perfected the Americana really slow. And one of the excellent things about Gracie University is that they make you do it slow a bunch of times, and it is so much more effective. The second thing is this is going to be slightly different from in every discipline, but there's an order and a structure that is
that's
best
what I was gonna say.
to learn in. I think Tim Ferriss may talk about this in 4-Hour Chef, but again, the Gracies do it the right way. They've been teaching for a long time. So
no, it's huge, man. I mean, in jiu-jitsu, if you find yourself on the bottom a lot because you're just getting crushed and you don't know how to stop a takedown, and then what you drill is how to attack from the top. It's even if you get good at it, you will never get to do it. And I see this with surfing too. Surfers that are like trying to figure out how to do certain turns. Dude, you can't pop up consistently. Like, you need to forget this. And in a lot of things, in most things, there is an order that will make your learning progress so much faster.
So just as an example, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you start on the bottom in the worst position, which is where you're going to find yourself most of the time.
If you suck, it's where you're going to be. But if you're very, very good at reversing that position, now you're in the second worst position. And then you can learn what to do from there. And that's what Gracie University does really well. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but no, I see this a lot in a lot of different learnings. People will try to just hop into the sexiest thing that they want to learn. And it's like if you're trying to learn how to do something charismatic mid-conversation, but you're terrified of starting a conversation.
Yeah, we start with first impressions. We don't start with
exactly. Telling a captivating story is a great skill only if you can get in conversation such that people will listen to you start a story. You know what I mean? So yeah, that order is huge.
So let me see. So this is big, and piano was one, and guitar as well. People always want to play the song to speed. That was my first piece. Get it right slow then. Second thing is definitely the structure and the order. You got to find a good teacher for that. I feel like I need a third thing to have this be a rounded out perfect 3.
Oh, I'd say one thing I like, little drills, 5-minute drills a day. So much more useful than 2 hours once a week. So surfing's a great example because you have to go out in the ocean. It's a huge hassle. Put on a wetsuit, drive to it. So what a lot of people do for surfing is they will just go once a week and never get better. And you can do little things like buy a skateboard that is designed to be like a surfboard and practice for 5 minutes a day. Same with jiu-jitsu. Maybe you can't go to class for an hour a day, but there is a hip sprawl drill you can do for 5 minutes. And in any skill, charisma is the same thing. You don't want to go out to a bar or give a speech every day. absolutely reasonable. But there's little things you can practice in a mirror in front of a camera for literally 5 minutes. And then when you get to the big moment of the jiu-jitsu class, the surfing, the actual conversation, you will do so much better, which will make it so much more fun, which makes it rewarding, which makes you want to continue. So that's I think a huge thing, is just finding the thing that takes literally 5 minutes that you can do 7 days a week. I mean, multiples faster in terms of skill acquisition than if you just try to do it in 1 to 2 hour chunks infrequently.
For all you students out there, this is true of studying as well. So the art of studying and learning anything is basically the art of forgetting and re-remembering, because you do it and you forget it. So can you technically cram right before a test and have something for 15 minutes and blow it out and do a test?
Can I tell you why I think it's different? So I'm a crammer. I crushed college without going to class sometimes, but you can memorize everything, take the test and get an A.
Spit it back out.
And then you forget it all a week later. So for test taking, it's great, but for skill acquisition, it's terrible, because I literally would forget what I had just gotten an A on 2 weeks later. I would fail that test if given it again, which I think for skill acquisition, you're not trying to impress a teacher. You're trying to do something well over time. And that's where cramming really fails.
So then let's go to the second question, which is, he's asking, and if I get this wrong, I apologize. He's wondering how to do his own thing, as he puts it. And he says that in the past, he's felt that he's had a very specific goal in mind, and he doesn't really have a specific goal, so he doesn't know how to do his own thing. So to me, this question is like, how do I find my thing, and then what do I like? What should I orient myself towards?
So the question is not.
That's how I'm interpreting.
The question is not how do I start my own business. My question is,
I told him 4-hour work week.
Literally, I'm 23 and I'm not sure what I want my life to look like. What should I do to figure out what it should look like?
That's how I'm reading it. If it is business related, 4-hour work week is the best place to start, in my opinion. But let's presume that this is the question.
Well, if it is business related too, running lean is nice because it's a literal step-by-step playbook, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the question is, how do I figure out what I want? I mean, I think in general, what you do for your money or whatever is just a means to a lifestyle. It's kind of how I think about it. So I think the first thing to do is, what would your ideal lifestyle look like, right? So if your ideal lifestyle, for instance, is to live 3 months in Brazil, 3 months in Bali, 3 months in Norway, immediately that is going to cut away a lot of options that would involve, like, our friend runs a bone broth company that has factories, right? Well, you can't do that. So I think knowing what lifestyle you want is probably the first thing I would do. So brainstorm that. And then,
and just concretely, I know I've done this. Write down, if you can, your perfect day starting from when you wake up. And if you want, you can even extrapolate that to a perfect week, because every day might not be exactly the same. That'll give you a good idea of how to orient yourself.
No, great point. That's what I was trying to say. Because if your goal is if you're like, my end goal is, I don't mind working really hard this year, but I want $10 million in 10 years. Every decision you make is going to be so different than if your goal is, I want to wake up when I want, live where I want, spend most of my time not working. Every decision you make is going to be informed by that. And I think sometimes if you don't define that, you can just get given other people's dreams, which you'll then chase.
So in terms of books, you asked specifically, I think we've given you enough books. I think that exercise is where I would start. And then, depending on where you land, which is, I need my own business, or I just want to be a teacher, or then read the book that is most related to that. Cool? Let's do some questions. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.